I am Curtis Hamilton, and this is my case study for EDL 856. What I know from the case study. Miss Rose is a new administrator and is now an assistant principal at John F. Kennedy High School. In the past, John F. Kennedy High School has had very little community support as far as helping. There is no community organizations involved with the school, and outreach to community and to the parents um, has really gotten little results back. The current principal has attempted in the past, but currently is pretty apathetic about reaching out because he feels like there's no need to because the parents are not going to participate or be involved at the school either way. So Miss Rose made a push to have a parent outreach meeting, and they sent home information with students on a Friday on paper, and only 8 people showed up to the meeting. So that is what I currently know about the situation. What I would like to know is what types of communications were made for the past, what type of technology are we using, what type of website, what type of phone calls are we putting stuff out there, positive media, social media, things like that. It'd be great to know what type of messages have been sent and how that has worked in the past. I've also like to know the makeup of the community, the demographics, the subgroups, the groups within the community that have been positive influences in the community, what type of community we are dealing with as far as the makeup, jobs, is there reasons we don't have involvement? Is this a community in which people have to work a lot and both parents are working, or this is just one of those communities in which um, there is a lot of factory type jobs, things like that, where people are working many, many hours and it's really hard to get them to participate in the school. And if so, how can we get them here? And that's part of my solution later. Um, again, another big part of that is what types of communications have gotten positive responses in the past. Is there anything that we can use to help us kind of indicate why or what type of communications our stakeholders and community is using? Then also, I want to look at some community, maybe some groups within the community that have success getting participation. Is it maybe Boy Scouts or maybe churches, maybe different athletic type situations? Again, maybe it's a cultural group or something like that where people meet, and if there is a lot of participation in that, see, what do we need to do as a school to reach out to them? So that, again, those are some things that I would like to know. Um, the problem that I identified was that there's a low community outreach by the school. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of public relations thought, or a lot put into public relations, a lot put into the school image. There's not a lot of outreach to community through different types of media, through different types of communication. It also seems that the community is not very involved at the school, so there is low community involvement at this point in time. And then also, I feel like there's a culture of apathy where it's okay that there isn't people involved. Instead of the school continually pushing for involvement, it seems like it has gotten to the point where they've kind of given up, and it is what it is. And so those are the problems that I see from this case study. My plan of action. The first thing I think, since the community was even though it's only 8 people, there is community members that did show up to the meeting. I don't think you can just cancel. I think that's a bad sign to those members. I think you need to hold the meeting, have a very positive vibe to it, really include them into the conversation at that point, to get them to feel like they are now part of the school, and then maybe they go tell other people. I would, at that meeting, schedule another outreach meeting, and again, communication through people is another big part of that. And so maybe those 8 go out and try to to find more people to bring in, or at least give a positive feedback to other people, and so the next meeting may have more. And so those are my first 2 steps, since that's in the immediate. Um, the next thing is, review how we are allowing parents to be involved. It says in there there's very little as far as what they've asked parents to do. Maybe create an environmental or a meeting or an event that parents would want to be involved at, and start at those type of events, and then work to things like, hey, do you want to work concession stand? Do you want to work gate? Those type of actions maybe later. Because again, if you're only asking them to do the things that maybe aren't the most positive viewed interactions with the school, then you're really not going to get them back um, to do more interaction with the school. So I feel like maybe reviewing the types of events that we have parents do, and maybe create events that would be really be a positive thing for parents, and then also events for the community as well. Creating a public relations campaign would be really big, as far as, again, looking at how to communicate with individuals within the community, look at the type of community we're in, and see how do they get their information and their media, and then also then push information and media in those forms to really create a more positive image, and then also create an image of cooperation, and one in which people actually want to be involved in. And so I feel like that would be a big part of encouraging more people to be involved at the school. And then I still think continue to work with the principal as an assistant principal. That is a thing in which you can't overreach your superior. You have to work with them. What are they comfortable with? What are you comfortable with? What are they comfortable letting you do? I think the principal is a very positive in a very positive figure, as far as he has the community's ear, and he does know several community members. And so it would be a positive to keep him in as far as a favorable person in this. My next step would be identify those parents who are leaders and those who really do want to be active. I think they start with the meeting. There's 8 people there, and ask them what are some ideas to get other people involved, and see if what they would be willing to do for the school. And then make some appearances at local community meetings to sell the school, to just let the community know that the school would like them involved, but also the school would like to be involved in the community. And so look at things like that. Next, organize PTA or PTO, and continue with the media campaign. If you get enough people, again, where the principal is comfortable, try to get a parent group that can start to expand the involvement at the school. How does this promote success? Again, anytime the community is involved at the school, it provides opportunity for students. It provides a partnership with parents and other stakeholders in which, again, they can go, maybe the students can go out and be a positive part of the community, doing community work, things like that, or working with things in the community that can give them an experience they wouldn't get elsewhere. And then again, creating a positive image of the school and the community then gets back into the minds of the students, and those students who have a positive image of their school are more likely to succeed. There were a few things when I was thinking about it, the way, when I was reading through, there was a few things I thought about, and one was that there has to be parents that want to be involved. In most of these schools, these are their children, and they want to be part of their lives, and they're here 8 hours a day, and they want to be part of something usually. And so there's always parents who want to be involved. Next, I felt like there was an immediate need for a change in public relations. There needs to be steps taken and continue to make steps in public relations. I felt a little bit of frustration, again, being an assistant principal. I've got to be in line with what the principal wants. You don't want to have dueling images or dueling ideologies out in the community, or see anybody seeing that. It creates a bad image for the school too. So having to create this partnership with the principal to kind of push the idea is a little frustrating, because you know that's the right thing to do, and you want them to know it's the right thing to do, and things like that. And then my last thing is, the whole time I was thinking I got to work with the current principal. He is my superior, but at the same time, the biggest thing is you can't have 2 images in community, because it makes even the image of the school even worse. How does this promote academic success for every student? Through community outreach is a big one. Again, anytime you can get into the community and get other people involved, you bring in more resources than the school has. You allow students to go out and be a positive change in their community, or create change in community, and the community can take pride in the school, making the school a community, really part of the community image. And the more community involvement you get at the school, the more interaction people have, the more people you're going to actually have want to be involved in the school, and that can help in things like bonds and stuff like that when they need to be passed. And then lastly, opening channels of communication with stakeholders and parents. The more communication we have with the parents, the better off students will be, because again, this becomes a cooperation of the student's education, and the more cooperation we have at home and in the classroom, the more success the student will see. And this has been my case study for EDL 856.